I'm George Santos, and I'm here with We Are Not Journalists.
Coming up on We Are Not Journalists. Journalists.
As long as we're psyoping, just give the song to Joe Biden.
Joe Biden's just a robot. He already has the auto-tune. Put him out there. Give him the song of the summer. Give him an anti-hero and an Is It Over Now?
Yeah.
Give him a Fearless.
Because you cannot unsee.
This man is like 40% neck. Like, what if a giraffe was fascist?
Everyone that looks Asian just has to come before a Senate subcommittee.
Just to see if they're Chinese?
Yeah, just to see if they're Chinese.
Welcome to another flash in the pan episode of We Are Not Journalists. I'm Maximilian Clark.
And I'm Walter Masterson.
Very good.
Thank you.
And big news out of this weekend is, of course, that my Detroit Lions just barely didn't make it into their very first Super Bowl, but it was still one heck of a season, and props to the team, City of Detroit, State of Michigan, and the whole world for the effort. Hey gang, you might have noticed that COVID had overtaken me last week and we didn't put this episode out. We recorded this intro about the Lions and I was going to cut it because it's a week old now, but then I remembered that it's my show and I get to talk about the Detroit Lions whenever I want, so deal with it, I guess.
Yeah, thank you, Detroit Lions. And I'm really sorry that they couldn't make it to the Super Bowl. I'm sorry
it was so close.
Yeah, I'm sorry that Taylor Swift is, she came in and just wrecked everything.
Oh, no. Walter, Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce. He's on the Chiefs. That's the other game that was played last week.
Yes, that game was also rigged.
Wait, you're saying
Taylor Swift also rigged that game? Have you not been keeping up with MAGA Twitter?
What? Wait, you're saying that Taylor Swift is responsible for the Lions losing?
Dude, if there's something you don't like, you don't just blame it on Hamas or something like that, or the Jews. You blame it on Taylor Swift.
When did this start?
It started last weekend.
Oh, this is because Taylor Swift was registering people to vote back then, and so MAGA was just like, oh, she works for Biden because voting is liberal. Is that it?
So here's what you do. If you don't like something, it's Taylor Swift's fault, right? And that's how you live as a MAGA conservative.
So you're saying if there's something that I don't like going on at all, I can blame it on Taylor Swift?
Walter, why are there nudes on your phone from another girl?
Honey, I'm sorry, honey. That's Taylor Swift. She put those on my phone.
Oh, sorry, babe. It's okay.
All right. Thank you.
What the heck? What just happened? How did that work?
Max. Okay.
What does she have to do with absolutely anything?
It's just, Max, I feel like you're really not understanding the logic behind this. And so I think we need some help. I'm going to bring in Jack Posobiec. He is the guy who alerted us all to the horrors of Pizzagate. So I think we should listen to him about basically everything. So let's let Jack Posobiec explain it.
So obvious to me. She's the perfect vehicle to go to those low propensity white liberal women to say, I need you to come out. I need you to come out for what? What'll be the issue? It'll be abortion, right? Abortion will be the issue. You need to come out. You need to get out on here and we can all see it. I'm sorry.
So first of all, Max, women don't care about abortion until Taylor Swift tells them to. Right? I mean, how many women do you know that care about their reproductive rights? Right? They need to be reminded by someone like Taylor Swift. Duh.
Yeah, I mean, the only women I know who care about that are the ones who listen to Shake It Off. Oh my God, is that what it's
about? Yes. Shake It Off is about a third trimester abortion.
Have to live in the world of what's what potential threats could be out there, and the indicators and warnings right now are going off the charts. That of course she came out as a Democrat in 2020. She attacked Marsha Blackburn in 2018. She's driven out voters using her social media presence in the past, and so it really seems like all the indicators going. And then of course take my word for it. The New York Times has already said that the Biden administration is working on what they call the Taylor strategy. So again, it's not about her as a person. It's about the machine that's around her and how they can use the power of her celebrity. And people have said, well, wait a minute, Jack. Celebrities have always gotten into politics and it doesn't really matter. Yes, it matters now because they changed the system of voting.
Yes, it matters now because a celebrity is saying to vote for the other guy. I will bet you $10 that he is about to qualify it by saying that if they support MAGA candidates, they're okay to be political.
All right, $10.
Right, because they change it to ballots, because they change it to, and by the way, we can do this as well. We don't have a Taylor Swift on our side, but you know who we have? We have Kid Rock, we have Ted Nugent, we have influencers, right? We have all these people, John Voight.
What does Jack Posobiec think is it? First off, I love being right. Being right is amazing. But what does he think an influencer is? That he like they're going to drive out the kids.
Yep.
Can you imagine like being the sort of kid that like wasn't going to vote and then John Voight like does an Instagram video and you're like, well, like now I gotta.
Exactly his point, Max. So you're some Gen Z kid. You think climate change is this big issue and reproductive rights is like a whole thing. BLM flags, pride flags, right? And then you hear this video from John Voight, the guy from National Treasure, and suddenly you're like, oh, I've been doing this all wrong. And you're like just totally red pilled. And you're back on our side.
Yeah. No, I mean, the Nuge, Kid Rock, John Voight, like I don't understand why they're even worried about Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I mean, show me. It's like, all right, who else can compete with that for the Gen Z vote?
And I want an army of Scott Presslers at every Kid Rock event and every Ted Nugent event. And I hope, by the way, and I need to talk to those guys about this because I've got this idea that maybe we even ask them, you guys mind doing a little tour later this year? Are you doing anything this fall? And I don't know where, but maybe I could think of a couple of states like, I don't know, Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, to have them running around Nevada, of course, Nevada, please. Yes, of course, right here. So
it's just like he has so totally lost his own thread here. This is him saying it is not right for Taylor Swift to get involved in politics and use her celebrity to bring people to the polls. And we should use our celebrities to bring people to the polls in swing states.
Yeah, Max. That's exactly what he's saying. I mean, listen, when we do it, it's patriotism. When they do it, it's Chinese communism.
Ugh, geez. I don't know, Walter. This makes me feel really weird. And
listen, this is the Pizzagate guy. He's the guy who started the whole Pizzagate conspiracy, all right? This whole Taylor Swift as a government psyop, it's just a fringe conspiracy. It hasn't really hit the mainstream. You shouldn't be too worried about it, okay?
Here's Jesse Waters on Fox News.
Have you ever wondered why or how she blew up like this? Well, around 4 years ago, the Pentagon's Psychological Operations Unit floated turning Taylor Swift into an asset during a NATO meeting. What kind of asset? A psyop for combating online misinformation. So is Swift a front for a covert political agenda?
I would love to live in Waters' world where the Democrats are capable of manufacturing a music icon who can win 14 Grammy Awards, a Primetime Emmy, 40 American Music Awards, 40 Billboard Music Awards, and 23 MTV Video Music Awards. If the Democrats were that good at public relations, they wouldn't need Taylor Swift.
Dude, I really wish the Democrats were as competent as MAGA claims they are. I swear. Yeah. I really wish they were half as competent and like that they were accusing the Democrats of having a plan. And I'm like, you're accusing them of having a plan?
Say less. Right. Like that is it. I mean, like, honestly, I wish this was true. I wish there was a secret cabal of Jews who could just like pull a Taylor Swift out of the air, because then they could just give Joe Biden his own Cruel Summer and just
why if they can
give
do
him
that,
a number one hit.
Yeah,
that was it. That's all you would need.
As long as we're psyoping, just give the song to Joe Biden. I mean, according to them, it's not even Joe Biden; it's someone else doing CGI, in a mask and everything.
Joe Biden's just a robot. He already has the auto-tune put him out there, give him the song of the summer, give him an anti-hero and an Is It Over Now?
Yeah.
Give him a Fearless.
Yeah.
And tell me that there's an American out there that wouldn't vote for the man.
Exactly.
God, I hope someone with AI makes this happen. It's funny that this Taylor Swift conspiracy web is propagating now that the right finally might have a pop sensation of their own on their side.
Ooh, okay. Tell me more, Max.
I'm not sure if you've heard, but Nicki Minaj just came out to compliment Ben Shapiro on his appearance in a rap.
Ooh, okay. You mean the one with the Canadian rapper guy?
Tom McDonald?
Yeah, the Tom McDonald. Yeah.
Can we talk about Just For Us? I'm going to play just a second of it.
I'm not ashamed because I'm white. If every Caucasian's a bigot, I guess every Muslim's a terrorist. Every liberal is right. I don't want to.
If every Caucasian's a racist, then I guess every Muslim's a terrorist. That's the part that makes you racist, dude. Like, you were fine until you were 2 seconds into your song and you called every Muslim a racist. And I feel like this
a terrorist. No.
Oh, sorry.
Every white person is a
I'll take it.
racist.
Yeah, if I'm a racist for being white, well then I wait till you hear about black people.
I guess they do like fried chicken then.
And this is, I think, really kind of central to a lot of the growing open racism that we're seeing on the right, which is they have found this like really sweet spot of being like, well, since you are attacking me, I can attack you. Which, even though that internally isn't how it works necessarily.
I love the logic that they set up.
You're attacking me, so I get to attack you. Except for that original attack is something they made up. Yeah. I pretended you were mad at me, so I'm going to attack you. Is essentially what we have. And it's the exact same thing. Like, we played that Charlie Kirk clip last week where he doesn't trust any black pilot not because he's racist, but because of DEI. Like, we made up this thing about black people being unqualified, and so now I have to think that black people are unqualified is so insane to me that this is just allowed. I mean, I guess, like, it's free speech, right? This is what they've been talking about, is that the government's not stepping in, but I feel like we have abandoned the social contract. We've just gotten so numb to all these like dog whistles that we're just like, fine.
I love it's like, well, if I'm racist, then I guess I'm just going to be racist then because I'm just a big racist.
But you know what? Like, maybe it is our fault. Maybe the left has gone too far. It's cancel culture. Maybe we are turning these people racist. You know what? We should listen to that Charlie Kirk thing one more time.
Flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now.
No, I mean, like, you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, that's the you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that before.
That's not who I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has created.
Yeah, actually playing it back, I sort of see it. And it's not like we are immune. And I think at the time, I didn't consider the way that even Walter and I will sometimes have these little microaggressions or
biases,
prejudices. Yeah, biases
or racism. Yeah, Max. When I see a white man working at an investment bank, my immediate assumption is that he's probably a legacy hire and that he was able to afford this low-paying internship for an entire summer while his parents paid for a $3,000 a month studio.
And that's not fair. It might just be that he got the job because his dad golfed with someone who worked there, and that or maybe through his business fraternity at a university that he got into because his parents went there. And
you shouldn't just assume, right?
Yeah, it's not just one thing. And I realize that it's probably this culture that we're in that's making me do this. Anyway, a lot of people went after Charlie. It's the left, and the left went after Charlie for saying this thing, and they forced him into a corner where he had to clarify his statements, which he did, by the way. He didn't just leave it out there. He said this week.
at times you can't. Here's what's upsetting to me, Heather, is if I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? It almost creates thought patterns that are not necessarily wholesome. It creates resentment, doesn't it, Heather?
Yeah. And look, he doesn't want to be racist. We don't want to be racist, but the woke left leaves us no other choice.
Yeah, Max. You know how if I'm a cop and I'm a bit of a loose cannon and I get assigned a black partner, I'm immediately going to assume that he's a family man, he's 2 weeks from retirement, and he's getting a little too old for this shit.
And you don't want to think that, right? It's just the way that we've been pre-programmed by society to have these thoughts. Walter, same thing affects me. I used to drive people around in my car, right?
Yeah.
But it got to the point that every time a black person got in the back, you know what I'd think? I would think that, obviously, without knowing a thing about him, I just go to thinking that he's the rich musical genius who needs me to accompany him on a life-changing tour of the Jim Crow South. Yes.
Right. Duh.
And I hate myself for thinking that. That shouldn't be.
Oh, it's because of the left.
The left.
It's because of
this wokeness. They're making everything about race. Yeah, it's out of control. It's it's gotten to the point that if say you're in a lab or a technical university or the Ivy League or a science symposium, and you see a low wage worker, right, a janitor or an aider.
And if he's white, I'm going to assume that he's staying late to do advanced equations on the chalkboard.
Right. But if they're a black lady, I'm going to assume that they are working with a team to calculate the re-entry arc of our space capsules to get astronauts back safely so we can keep ahead of the Russians.
Yes. Yeah. And
why
the
else
left
would
wants to cancel us for this?
If not to win the space race.
Yeah.
It just doesn't add up. And it's not fair. And I don't like to be made out to be the bad guy because society is making me have these kinds of thoughts.
Yeah, and it's the left is just, they've gone too far.
They've gone too far. So our apologies to Charlie Kirk. We're right there with you.
Yeah, we're sorry, Charlie.
We'll be right back. Told you so. And here we are back again with We Are Not Journalists. So, you just sent me this clip from another Senate subcommittee on social media. As it turns out, social media is bad for you, but Chinese social media is extra bad for you.
Yeah. Big tech is one thing, but Chinese big tech, that's just, it's too much.
Yeah, so TikTok CEO Shouji Chu was testifying before Congress. And, anytime there's any sort of tech hearing on Congress, it's always kind of hard to watch just because the average age of a senator is 75. And so they spend most of their time being like, how come my algorithm is just buff dudes swinging Bibles at the bare buttocks of children?
Yeah, so it's always men chopping wood, right?
I don't get it.
Yeah.
and telling on themselves. But this one, Tom Cotton, young guy out of Arkansas, future
relative,
of the party.
Young guy, let's being relative to the white
is
men
46,
in Congress.
47?
Yeah. Oh my God. Just
something like that. Hold on. Tom Cotton. No, not nudes. Tom Cotton affairs age 46. Hey, I should be like one of those carnival barkers. Yeah, guess your weight, guess your age, guess your political affiliation based on your congressional testimony. So anyways, he brought the TikTok CEO before, he's sitting before Congress, and this is what Tom Cotton does.
Of what nation are you a citizen?
Singapore.
Are you a citizen of any other nation?
No, Senator.
Have you ever applied for Chinese citizenship?
Senator, I served my nation in Singapore. No, I did not.
Do you have a Singaporean passport?
Yes, and I served my military for two and a half
have-
years in
Do you
Singapore.
have any other passports from any other nations?
No, Senator.
Your wife is an American citizen. Your children are American citizens.
That's
Have you-
correct.
Have you ever applied for American citizenship?
No, not yet.
Okay. Have you ever been a member of the Chinese Communist Party?
Senator, I'm Singaporean. No.
Have you ever been associated or affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party?
No, Senator. Again, I'm
Okay.
Singaporean.
Let me ask you some hopefully simple questions. You said earlier, in response to a question, that what happened at Tiananmen Square in June of 1989 was a massive protest. Anything else happen in Tiananmen Square?
Yes, I think it's well documented. There was a massacre.
There was
yeah.
the indiscriminate slaughter of hundreds or thousands of Chinese citizens.
You gotta love his pivot. After he fully establishes that he's not Chinese, he's Singaporean. He's like, well, are you American? He's like, no, I actually haven't applied for American citizenship. He's like, aha!
So, no. You say he pivoted, but then it is right back to, have you ever been a member of the Chinese Communist Party?
That's his pivot of like, it's like,
well, it's like, okay, you may not be Chinese, but you're in the Chinese Communist Party. Just the infuriating thing is, I think this actually plays well for Tom Cotton's base because China is an attack word. So it's like, wow, he's really pushing him hard on the being Chinese issue.
I mean, yeah, and then there's probably people in the comments going, well, just because he's a Singaporean citizen born and raised and served in the Singapore military doesn't mean he's not a member of the Chinese Communist Party.
And this exact thing sounds just like that scene from King of the Hill.
So are you Chinese or Japanese?
I live in California last 20 years, but first come from Laos.
Huh?
Laos. We Laotian.
The ocean? What ocean?
We are Laotian. From Laos, stupid. It's a landlocked country in Southeast Asia. It's between Vietnam and Thailand, okay? Population 4.7 million.
So are you Chinese or Japanese?
Oh.
Are you trying to say that Tom Cotton was doing a King of the Hill bit this entire time?
I hope so. That would make me feel so much better if that is the only thing that's going on with Tom Cotton is that he is cosplaying Hank Hill. Is that he is cosplaying Hank Hill?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, sometimes with MAGA, if they just took a step back and said, hey, I was doing a bit, I would be like, all right, you're killing it. Like that, you got us. That was amazing. Like, great job.
Yeah. You know, Walter, the really embarrassing thing is these are the exact questions Tom Cotton asked Mark Zuckerberg last week.
Are you a robot?
Were you manufactured in China?
Were you manufactured in Taiwan?
Oh, whoa. That's a little political for us.
Not to get all political.
Yeah.
But look, you got a little like, McCarthy-ish at like towards it, where he's just like, are you now or have you ever been?
Have you ever been? Yeah.
And you're like, dude, I'm Asian. Like, I look Asian and I'm talking to you. What is going on? Like, everyone that looks Asian just has to come before a Senate subcommittee.
Just to see if they're Chinese.
Yeah, just to see if they're Chinese. And then he does like the Larry David, where he like looks at them sideways to see if they're telling the truth. And he's like, ah. And they play the Curb Your Enthusiasm music.
Oh my goodness. When is Tom Cotton up for re-election? 2 more years, folks.
Ooh,
he also and I don't want to make this. I don't like roasting people based on their physical characteristics, but
I mean, it is fun.
This is a man with a lot of neck. Like, if you look at his official Senate photo.
Okay, so for our viewers at home, do not type Tom Cotton age and click Google image because you cannot unsee.
This man is like 40% neck. Like, what if a giraffe was fascist?
Yeah. He's like a prairie dog, actually. He's like 3 prairie dogs in a trench coat. No. You know what? Sid the Sloth from Ice Age.
A lot of animation comes out of China, Walter.
For our viewers at home, Just hearing the audio.
But look at this.
You're just going to have to trust us.
Just how afraid of vampires do you think Tom Cotton is? Jesus Christ. This guy can wear 5 ties.
Okay, so he's also wearing a collared shirt.
Like, look at this picture of him running.
Wait, you found a picture of Tom Cotton without a dress shirt.
I need to see him without a shirt because I don't know how far down this neck goes. Like, not to be a conspiracy theorist, but like he's wearing a t-shirt right now, and it's still just neck.
Yeah, we have questions.
Look at this! It bends. It has an elbow.
His neck is so long when he's leaning a certain way, you can see it.
God, how fun would it be to have Tom Cotton's neck and just go into rooms just being like, "Hello."
I think like, Tom Cotton's neck needs its own
Instagram page.
Yeah.
Its own Facebook fan page.
Yeah. The only person who's ever going to bring that up in a Senate subcommittee hearing, I feel like, is the Teamsters CEO. I feel like that guy, whenever he gets in front of any subcommittee, he just claps
he's always
on
ready
them.
To fight.
Yeah, he's just like, he's always ready to clap. He's like, you want to go? You want to take it there? Let's take it there. I feel like I can't wait for the day that Tom Cotton says anything to the head of the Teamsters Union. I feel like that's going to be the first.
I don't know, Walter. Do you really think he'd stick his neck out like that? It would take like 5 people to strangle this guy.
Yeah. I know his neck would just keep getting longer. If you strangle him, and it just keeps getting longer. It's like he's like, I could do this all day, bro.
I shouldn't joke. Tom Cotton evolved this way so he can reach leafy greens from the treetops.
I know we don't want to insult anyone that is, that has this rare neck condition of Tom Cotton's.
Man, I can't believe you Google Tom Cotton neck and nothing comes up.
That's big tech messing with us.
Yeah,
right. That's big tech censorship,
suppressing the truth. Oh, and hey, speaking about people with mutant necks and Teamsters, putting it all together.
So now is the part of our program where we ruin something for everyone listening. I learned this, and it's you know what? I know this. Now you have to know this.
We Are Not Journalists presents. Oh, why did you tell me that? Yeah, hey, Trader Joe's. We all love Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Our friend Trader Jose's nachos and
yeah, they focus on company culture, and everyone that works there is happy.
Their cashiers are doing conga lines, and they are being like, "Woo!" ringing the bell.
Yeah,
and the employees there are free to do whatever they want, except
join
organize.
A union. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just like Starbucks last year, Trader Joe's is coming under fire because a few locations that have been trying to unionize have been met with the steel fist of corporate America. And hits me right in the Trader Joe's chocolate covered pecans.
And listen, we're trying to look the other way here. I mean, over the years they've been refusing to set up in black neighborhoods, and I'm sort of averting my gaze, oh yeah, I didn't really.
It's a coincidence they're not profitable enough. Infrastructure concerns and whatnot.
Yeah.
Problematic. It's Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
They make salads that I like. And of course, it is making me wonder, where does their cheap, Trader Joe's store brand product come from? It's probably child slaves making their salads and sandwiches.
It's like the woke Nestle,
Yeah, exactly. And this stuff is so upsetting. And when this happened last year with Starbucks crashing down hard on their union organizers, on my other show, Superhuman Public Radio, my writing partner, Jack Dorsey, penned this great segment about that made fun of Starbucks and ended up just sort of taking on all these union busting corporate moguls who really go after the little guy. And we brought in Walter to play Rex Ruthless, who ended up being a lot more like Jeff Bezos.
Mm-hmm.
So we are actually, since we have it, we're going to play this segment for you. It's exactly what we've seen time and again with these big corporate things as we crash down on unions. But
if you like the segment, okay, Max, okay, everyone, if you like the segment, go check out SPR, Superhuman Public Radio. It's like NPR, you get it.
Yeah, it's like NPR, but with superheroes. It's fun. It's fun.
You'll like it.
It's a good show. It makes you feel things.
We make fun of MAGA too, but just in a more symbolic way that incorporates, this cinematic comic book universe.
Well, I mean, the bad guys are the alt-right in season 2.
It's more on the nose, but right, whatever, fine.
Yeah.
It's not as deep. Sorry.
Yeah.
From QSPZ Baltimore, it's These American Supers. I'm Ethan Schwartz. Earlier this month, the NLRB ruled that employees of the henching app Lackey would be allowed to unionize should they elect to. This vote has become a battlefield.
Lackey cares about one thing and one thing only, the bottom line.
This is Kirby King, acting president of Igor.
We're used to working with the worst of the worst. Name the supervillain and we've done the gig. But these Wall Street types that Lackey answers to, yikes, gives me the creeps.
We sent producer Ellen Spiegel to Mesa, Arizona to cover the state's historic vote with the help of a familiar face.
The last time I saw Harold Harrison, he was dressed as an anthropomorphic crocodile. Today, he is in a blood-red polo, an Igor pin proudly displayed on his lapel.
They promise you flexible hours, competitive pay, implants that let you breathe underwater. What they don't tell you is it's all overnights, there's no overtime, and that they'll remove those implants without anesthesia the second you break contract. Look at the scar. It itches when it's about to rain, so yeah, it's useful and it looks cool, but I shouldn't have it.
We're inside the same hideout we used when we worked for Croc Command. Today, it's a temporary Igor union hall set up for prospective members.
No, don't put your coffee there! That missile is still active.
Activated.
It is still littered with crocodile-themed costumes and weapons.
Sorry.
No, it was my mistake. I should have put up a sign. Oh, man, what was Croc Commander's birthday? Croc Commander, born on Sunday, to a nurse on Orlando Speedway, 9/29. Okay, got it. And see, this was a non-union site where they don't take safety seriously.
Hey, Harry, you secured this site with me.
Yeah, and let's talk about how with better training and working conditions, coffee spills don't accidentally kill everyone in the room.
Released on good behavior from Saguaro Supermax Prison, Harold quickly fell back into the henching community.
Not a lot of jobs for an ex-con with a record of villainy, especially a record that played on the radio.
Sorry about that.
Don't be. That story got me a feature in Igor's magazine. Right between Frank Bulletproof Jones and Bobby Lightning Fist Rayner was me, Harold Easy to Work With Harrison. After I got out, they were very eager to meet me. And look at me now, official Igor organizer, District 487.
And does it look like you have the votes here in Mesa?
Yeah, you don't exactly trust people when you're working on this side of the law, so convincing them to work together is an uphill climb. Plus, it doesn't help that Lackey is pouring money in to stop us.
A day later, the group Harold was speaking to were brought downtown by Lackey for a team-building exercise.
There they are. Good morning. Hello, lackeys.
If that voice sounds familiar, it should. It's Rex Ruthless, or at least it's one of him. See, Lackey only has a single full-time employee. Rex Ruthless's army of clones are all paid individual weekly checks, but due to a legal loophole, they only pay a single set of taxes. Roughly 300 Rex clones work at Lackey, and they all share the same name, so they identify each other by number. This Rex is 264.
Welcome. Hey, take a seat. I see a lot of familiar faces out there.
The last Rex to visit Arizona was actually 235, but the crowd doesn't seem to notice.
We here at Lackey, we're not a workplace. We're a family. And Igor, well, that's like adding a stepdad to an already happy home, right? Am I right?
It's basically word for word the press releases Lackey has been running, only now he has a captive audience.
We were going to raise your pay, but with union dues, it will basically negate it.
Add a couple embellishments here and there.
Without Igor weighing us down, we'll be able to bring you more weapons, better getaway cars, and new implants.
And incentives.
You know what we were going to add to the Lackey catalog next quarter? Metal legs!
I've always wanted metal legs.
And you've got a very compelling presentation.
I see some people in the front row here that could definitely use some metal legs. What is this, Pirate Day? Right? produce a metal eye, too. Am I right? Am I right?
I catch up with Rex 264 outside on his smoke break. He'll run another seminar in a half hour.
It's a living.
So, do you expect this area to unionize?
I'm sure that they will make the right decision in the end.
I listened to a lot of your presentation. The Lackey board voted down pay raises in August. That was before the NLRB ruling, wasn't it?
Well, we knew it was coming. Hey, is this going to air before the vote?
No, we're covering the full thing.
Oh, all right.
He leans in and drops the winning smile all Rexes are known for.
Back in the day, if henchmen got out of line, you'd vaporize them. But you know what hurts production? Vaporizing the people doing it. Once henchmen realized they had the whole villainy industry in their hands, they closed around bad villains like a fist. Good for them, right? But then they started to complain about broken bones, jail time, the monsters, the food. Igor took it too far. Last time I checked, supervillains and henchmen were on the same side of the law. Where's that outlaw spirit? We're the bad guys. There are no rules. Those goons should know that.
264 stomps out his cigarette and heads back inside to a fresh group of henchmen. He greets them with a smile and shakes hands with the front row.
All right, welcome. Welcome, lackeys. Good
He'll
morning,
run 3 more workshops before the vote tomorrow. 11 a.m., the Lackey Training Center. The vote. Many of the men and women who come in are still tired from the overnight heist gig that popped up on the app, as well as being slightly irradiated.
Oh, you kidding me? The implants, they absorb most of the radiation, and the iodine pills take care of the rest. You just can't hug the cat for like a day or two.
And do you mind if I ask you how you're planning to vote?
Oh, I'm sticking with Lackey all the way, 100%. I don't know what I would have done without those implants. Oh, that's supposed to be coming off like that?
It's a fairly divided crowd.
We have to buy our own bullets. Half a crew is out there with empty clips. You better believe I'm voting Igor.
Metal freaking legs!
My last gig, they injected scorpion venom into my testicles. Union job? They'd have to ask first.
At the end of the day, the tally is 630 for staying with Lackey and 610 for joining Igor. The vote fails.
Yeah, I'm pretty bummed for sure.
I caught up with Harold after the votes had been tallied. He was admitted to the ICU after receiving an incredibly large dose of radiation from the previous night's heist. He wasn't even on duty. He just went out to make sure the lackeys were all right.
These guys aren't trained in nuclear management. No matter what they tell you, implants only do so much.
The gig itself was robbing a freight train full of nuclear waste on behalf of Marie Fury.
I showed up to the site to remind everyone to vote, but I couldn't stand by and watch them do something dangerous. Like, I was up to my elbows in goo before I remember, dummy, I don't have my implants anymore. But we got the thing under control before it blew. And the scars don't itch anymore, but they say that's normal when they have to replace all your skin.
Hey, Harry.
Hey, look at you got your metal legs.
Yeah, cool, right? I'm sorry about the vote.
Hey, that's okay. You did what you had to do.
We were thinking, could you fill me in on what went wrong yesterday?
Yeah, sure. Pull up a chair. Got nothing but time. And tumors. Probably, but hey, more me to love.
As I left, I saw a group of henchmen on their way up to see Harold. Some to ask about union membership, others just there to visit. My initial plan was to end the story here, but I ran into Rex 264 at the airport. He agreed to an impromptu interview. I recorded it on my phone.
So how do you feel about the results?
It's like I said, we're a family. This vote only proves that.
Yeah, about that. I was wondering. You're a clone, right? Why doesn't Lackey just use clones as the workforce, instead of hiring independent contractors?
Well, we're not hard labor. Rex 1 made us so that he could ensure our company was run just the way he wants.
And do you get any say in that? In how you or the other clones get assigned?
No, only Rex 1 has that power. But we've talked about sending him a strongly worded email.
You and the other Rexes?
Yeah, we meet about once a month, get together, see how we're doing, see what we can do better, maybe improve working conditions. We're stronger together, like a family.
Yeah, like a family.
That was senior producer Ellen Spiegel. Since the story was recorded, several Lackey districts have voted to join Eager. Harold himself has since been elected chapter president of Local 487 in nearby New Mexico. Rex 264 was fired by Lackey a month after the vote. As a term of his employment contract, he has since been liquidated.
I was up to my elbows in goo before I remember, dummy, I don't have my implants anymore.
We'll be back soon with more of these American supers.
In our hands is placed a power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the might of armies, magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to birth a new world from the ashes of the old, for the Union makes us strong. Solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the Union makes us strong.
You know who the Pinkertons are?
The Pinkertons, they're in like every like Wild West thing. Like they did security for like the railroad and the big railroad, and they did Union busted like back in the early 20th century. Yeah.
Yeah, in the days of Vanderbilt and Rockefeller, they were the big union busting, like the guys who would kidnap people and send dogs after union organizers and fire hoses. Did you know they're still around?
No.
Do you know who hires them?
Oh, stop.
Amazon. Jeff Bezos hires the actual Pinkertons.
But wait,
and it's for that exact reason.
No. Okay. What does the Pinkertons do today? Like, you can't tell me that they're strictly like a union busting, like beat up and kidnap union organizing company. Like, what is their role today? Is it like Blackwater or what? I would be less surprised that they hire Blackwater.
Personal security and risk management firm. But as union organizers for Amazon have pointed out, they also do that thing.
Wait, is that a direct quote?
No.
Okay. That'd be amazing. No, what's a direct quote from a union organizer?
Oh, geez. Amazon, Union, Pinkerton. Let's see here. According to leaked documents, Amazon runs a surveillance program to track activism among its workers, and that is what Pinkerton agents are hired by Amazon to do, to surveil. So they're not doing it on horseback anymore. It's more just hacking into their computers and videotaping them.
Wow. The Pinkertons.
Whew. Anyway,
he still hires. I mean, should we be surprised?
No, like Jeff Bezos, I think, with his like bald look and going into space and wearing a cowboy hat, he's really embraced this supervillain kind of look in our real world. He's just like, yeah, whatever. He's probably smoking a cigar, putting it out on like the hand of the nearest employee, just being like.
And then Elon is Elon, because he's just a narcissist. Is like, hey, I can be a fascist too, and he's like, come on, I can be a fascist. Look, come on, Bezos, forget him. I'm a bigger fascist.
No, sorry, got a long way to go, kid.
Yeah, sit down, Elon.
Your fascism is uninspired compared to the OG.
I know it's sort of like he's just doing like sort of copy and pasting everything from the alt-right. Whereas I feel like Jeff Bezos, it's sort of an innovator. He's sort of a visionary, keep a fascist visionary.
Jeff Bezos isn't doing any of these things to be popular. He's doing them to make money. And I think that's just a more compelling vision of what I want supervillainy to be.
Yeah, I feel like Jeff Bezos is sort of more honest. And he just sort of, like, remember, you saw that picture of him where he, like, rented out Disneyland or something, and it's just him by himself, like, riding the roller coaster?
No.
I mean, it just tells you everything you need to know about him. And you're like, he just knows. He's like, listen, if I want friends, I'll just buy them, bro. Like, I got billions on billions. Like he gave Van Jones like $100 million for no reason.
But, obviously SPR looks at our real world politics and imagines as well, what are their supervillains? But there are supervillains. In this world of ours.
There are supervillains, and sometimes you got to talk to the supervillains.
You have to confront them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, do what we should do?
What?
We should demand to see his Chinese passport.
Wait, so if you call, I'm trying to get the one.
Call his Texas office. That's the one he never picks up.
Thank you for calling the Central Texas office of U.S. Senator Ted Cruz. We are currently unavailable at this time. Please leave a brief message with your name, phone number, email address, and zip code. Thank you.
Hey, we're just calling to ask about your Chinese passport, how long you've been a member of the Chinese Communist Party.
We know you're from China, Ted.
Yeah, we know you're from China. I mean, you said something Canada, but where's your Chinese passport? Go
fuck you. And we don't even have powers. It's just us doing our part.
We speak to him every week. It's like when we speak to Ted Cruz every week, and I think there's sort of a dialogue there, opening up.
Yeah. Yeah, I get the.
I look forward to the dialogue every week. Yeah, I look forward to. It's like, we're gonna speak to Ted Cruz.
I feel like this is what politics is supposed to be.
Yeah. It like feels very fraternal.
Yeah. All right, brother. Well, and next week we have a really exciting episode, a lot of footage, talking to people who are pro-life.
Or forced birthers. Yeah, forced birthers at the March for Life.
Yeah. And until next week, I'm Maximilian Clark.
And I'm Walter Masterson.
And this is We Are Not Journalists.
We are not journalists.
And we're not.
Yeah.